Have you ever felt this way? You set big goals, you plan to change your life, you promise yourself, this year will be different. But when challenges come, you quit. You give up too soon. If you have ever started strong but stopped too early, then this story is for you. It may save you years of regret. But before we begin, let me ask you something important. How many dreams have you abandoned? How many times have you told yourself, I'll try again later, and never did? If this sounds familiar, then do not scroll past this story. Stay until the end, because what you're about to hear could be the turning point you've been waiting for. And if you're serious about change, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Rise in Silence. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because transformation begins the moment you decide to stop quitting on yourself. Now, let the story begin. Once upon a time, in a land between two great mountains, there lived a young man named Yusuf. He was 27 years old, full of energy and fire in his heart. Yusuf had one great dream: to reach the top of the sacred mountain and ring the ancient bell that stood there. Legend said that whoever rang that bell would be granted wisdom, respect, and prosperity for life. Everyone in the village knew about Yusuf's dream. He talked about it constantly. One day, he would say, I will climb that mountain. I will ring that bell. My name will be remembered forever. People admired his passion, but there was one problem. Yusuf was a quitter. He started many things, but he finished nothing. He once tried to build a house. He laid the foundation, then stopped. He tried to learn carpentry. He made one chair, then quit. He tried to grow a garden. He planted seeds, but left before harvest. Every time the work became hard, Yusuf gave up. And every time he quit, he told himself the same lie. This wasn't the right time. I'll succeed at something else. Years passed. Yusuf watched others succeed. He watched farmers harvest. He watched builders finish homes. He watched craftsmen create masterpieces. And he remained the same, a man of big dreams and empty hands. One cold morning, Yusuf's grandfather, a man who had lived 80 winters, called him to sit by the fire. The old man looked at Yusuf with tired but loving eyes and said, My son, I am dying soon. Before I go, I must tell you something. Yusuf's heart sank. Grandfather, please, you will live many more years. The old man shook his head. No, my time is near, but listen carefully. When I was young like you, I too wanted to climb the sacred mountain. I started the journey 3 times, and I quit 3 times. Yusuf was shocked. His grandfather had never told him this. The old man continued, The first time, I climbed for 2 days. Then a storm came. I turned back and said, I will go when the weather is better. The second time, I climbed for 5 days. My feet hurt. I turned back and said, I will go when I am stronger. The third time, I climbed for 7 days. I could see the top, but fear gripped my heart. I turned back and said, Maybe this dream is not for me. Tears filled the old man's eyes. Yusuf, I have lived 80 years. I have a home, I have a family, but I carry one great regret. I never rang that bell. I never finished what I started. And now, as I prepare to leave this world, that unfinished dream haunts me every single night. He gripped Yusuf's hand tightly. Do not become me, my son. Do not let quitting become your identity, because the pain of discipline lasts only a moment, but the pain of regret lasts forever. 3 days later, the grandfather passed away. At the funeral, Yusuf stood in silence. His heart was heavy. That night, he made a vow. Grandfather, I will finish what you started. I will climb the mountain, and I will not quit, no matter what. The next morning, before sunrise, Yusuf packed a small bag and began his journey.
The first 2 days were easy. He felt strong, he felt motivated. But on the third day, a storm came. Rain poured, thunder roared, the path became mud. Yusuf remembered his grandfather's words, "I turned back because of a storm." Yusuf whispered to himself, "Not me. I will not quit." He found shelter under a rock and waited. When the storm passed, he continued. On the 5th day, his feet were bleeding, his body ached, every step was pain. He remembered, "I turned back because my feet hurt." Yusuf wrapped his feet in cloth and kept walking. On the 7th day, he could see the top, the bell was visible, but fear entered his heart. "What if I'm not worthy? What if I fail?" He remembered, "I turned back because of fear." Yusuf closed his eyes. He thought of his grandfather's regret. He thought of all the things he had quit in his life, and he said aloud, "No more. Today, I choose to finish." He climbed, step by step, breath by breath, and finally, he reached the top. There, standing tall and ancient, was the sacred bell. Yusuf's hands trembled as he grabbed the rope. He pulled. The bell rang. Its sound echoed across the mountains, across the valleys, across the village below. People stopped. They looked up. They whispered, "Someone has rung the bell." Yusuf fell to his knees and cried, not from pain, but from victory. He had finally finished something. When Yusuf returned to the village, he was a changed man. He no longer quit. He finished the house. He mastered carpentry. He grew the greatest garden in the land. And whenever someone said, "This is too hard, I want to give up," Yusuf would tell them his story. He would say, "Quitting is easy. Anyone can do it. But finishing is what separates the dreamers from the legends." Dear listener, Yusuf's story is your story. Right now, you are on a mountain. Maybe it's a goal. Maybe it's a habit. Maybe it's a dream you've been carrying for years. And you are tired. You want to quit. You want to turn back. But here's the truth. The top is closer than you think. Most people quit right before the breakthrough. They stop 5 steps before the treasure. They give up 1 day before the miracle. Do not be like them. Do not carry the regret of what if. Finish what you started, even if it's hard, even if it hurts, even if no one is watching. Because the pain of quitting lasts forever, but the pride of finishing, that stays with you for life. If this story touched your heart, do not let it end here. Like this video right now. Subscribe to Rise in Silence. Share it with someone who is about to give up on their dream. Because together, we can become the people who finish, the people who ring the bell, the people who prove that quitting is not our destiny. Your mountain is waiting. Will you climb it?